Good morning. Today is Tuesday, July 26th, and we're here bringing you this month in Hamilton. Want to start out by thanking WBCB 1490 AM for allowing us an opportunity to talk to you this month about what's going on in our favorite town here, Hamilton, New Jersey. Want to also thank our sponsors, Angelo Onifrey in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford Subaru, and Radiology Affiliates Imaging for bringing us today's show. Without our sponsors, this wouldn't be possible either. As we always do, want to provide you just a brief update here about what's going on in town, and then we have our head of our Hamilton Township Public Library joining us today. They've had a tumultuous 2.5 years navigating through the pandemic about how to provide people services to take out books and take out videos and all of that when your building's shut. But they've been managed to accomplish all that and more, and now are back fully open. And so we want to make sure everybody gets reintroduced to our Hamilton Township Free Public Library. So we'll have Scott on a little later in the show to talk to you about all the good things going on at the library this summer and into the future as well. In terms of a Hamilton Township update, it gets repetitive to keep saying, but just a quick COVID update on where we are. We've grown in the number of cases a little bit over the last week or two. We were averaging about 120 or so cases a week reported to our health department. Over the last week, we were right around about 150. A slight increase there, but still well below where we were in terms of reported cases from the winter time this past year when we had that huge spike. So, and considering the amount of interaction with people and things like that, I think overall Mercer County is still one of the lower risk counties in the entire state. So, seems to be doing pretty well with that, but want to always keep it just on your radar so you know what's going on here locally and not just on a state or national level. In terms of what we have going on in town, since we last were before you, we had our 4th of July celebration at Veterans Park, which was a great success. The weather cooperated, it wasn't too hot, didn't rain, and we had thousands of people out at the park and around the park to enjoy the concert and fireworks. I know it was a great time had by everybody who was able to participate. And then this month, or next month, a week from today, we're recording this on Tuesday, July 26th. On Tuesday, August 2nd, we have our police department's National Night Out over at the south side of Veterans Park as well. So if you've never been to that, it's an outstanding event. It grows and grows and grows every single year, which is why we've had to move it to Veterans Park. Last year was a record turnout. It was one of the first events we did coming out of the pandemic. And it's not just the police who are involved. We have our Hamilton Township Fire Department. We have our Public Works Department with touch-a-truck opportunities for kids as well. We have a variety of vendors giving out drinks, and I think it was free Italian ice last year, things like that. So we have a number of great things going on for kids. We've got sporting competitions between our police and fire department as well. So if you've never come to National Night Out, I strongly encourage you to come. It starts at 5:30 again over at Veterans Park on the south side. So please be there if you have some time, and bring the kids, obviously, because that's what it's geared towards, and allowing our youth to interact in a positive way with our police department especially, but also our fire department, our public works department, and a variety of staff as well. Speaking about kids, want to congratulate our seniors who just graduated Hamilton Township's 3 public high schools. I had the opportunity to attend 2 of the graduation ceremonies, and we've got some fantastic youth who just graduated Hamilton Township this year. Wish them well on whatever they're pursuing in the next year to come. Many off to college, but many off to the military and trade school and the like as well. So we had a great graduating class, and I know the rising seniors at this point are milking every last day of summer vacation that they can, but I know they're looking forward to their senior year as well. In terms of things going on around town, you're going to see a number of construction projects, road construction projects going on around town. You should already start seeing South Broad Street. It's either called the eastbound lane or the southbound lane, depending on how you call it, which is heading from Layler Street towards the circle. The last bit of pre-construction work is just being finished on the curbs, etc. And so in the next week or two, you're going to start seeing South Broad Street milled and then paved. So that whole street, that whole side of South Broad Street will be done before the end of the summer. You also should start seeing all that pre-con work going on Yardville Hamilton Square Road between Route 33 and Klockner Road. And so our goal is to have that repaved entirely before the start of the school year as well. It's a heavily trafficked road for our schools between Steiner and Reynolds Middle School. So our goal and the goal of the contractor on that one is to see all that done well before the start of the school year as well. But a number of other projects going on, road projects going on in town. Trenton Waterworks is doing some paving, Aqua is doing some paving, PSE&G is doing some paving, and then we have our own roads department doing paving as well. They were just on Central Avenue last week and now this week, and so they've got some projects to do to run out the end of the year as well. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of infrastructure improvements being put on between our Public Works Department, our Engineering Department, and making sure those utilities that are opening up our roads either properly fill or do a full repave job as well. I also want to thank Mercer County. Many of you have seen, it seems like every week or every other week they've got a project going on in town. They just did Sweetbriar this year. They did Nottingham Way near the municipal building this year, and now they're doing an additional part of South Olden this year as well. So a lot of good stuff going on, a lot of infrastructure improvements going on. I know it's something we get asked every single time, well, what about my street? When is my street getting done? We do as much as we can in terms of our ability as a Public Works Department, in terms of contractor availability, and obviously in terms of our budget. But we will get to your road eventually. Make sure you put in a request if you think your road's in worse shape than others through Hamstat, so it can be inspected by our roads inspectors to see where it falls on the triage list. But just add a different wrinkle, if you think your road is in bad shape, and we agree, what we also then do is we contact PSE&G, we contact either Trenton Waterworks or Aqua, we contact all the utilities who may have pipes and lines and anything like that running under the road, our own sewer department as well, so that they can check the condition of their infrastructure underneath that road first, because the worst thing that can happen is we repave a road and then 6 months or even 6 years later, something that was detectable now turns into a big issue, and we've got to cut the road open or further deteriorate it. So we do our best to do all that stuff way before a road's ever repaved, so that once we repave it, it's good to go for many, many years afterwards, and we're putting your tax dollars to the best efficiency that we can in terms of cost. Some other things you'll see going on in Veterans Park over the next month or so. Last year, I'm sure you remember me talking about pickleball. Well, our APP pickleball tournament is back again for this August, and so you're going to see people not only from New Jersey, but literally from around the country, from Florida and California, coming here to Hamilton, New Jersey to play in a professional pickleball tournament. By that point, if you've been to the tennis center area, you'll see that we had some new pickleball courts installed as well, so we'll be up to 18 right around the time of that tournament in mid-August. So it's an exciting thing, not only locally for our players to see some professional pickleball players at their craft, but it's a great thing for our local area residents in terms of those who work at our restaurants, our hotels, and our other service industries, because as people are coming from Florida, as people are coming from California, Connecticut, etc., they're not just coming for a day trip. They're staying at our hotels and the like. They're eating at our restaurants. And so it's a great little boost to our local economy as well. And what I would say is, if you think our pickleballers are upset about not being able to use their courts for a few days, last year I had nothing but praise from those regulars at our Hamilton pickleball courts, because they were excited to see people from around the country and how they play and how they manage situations, so they could improve their own game as well. Many of them volunteered to help in organizing it, to running the actual tournament. So it's a great event for Hamilton to be put on the map. We expect more tournaments to come in the years to come as well. So just as we host the state baseball tournament annually for the NJSIAA, pickleball will just put Hamilton on the map again, not only for the state but in a much larger way as well. So we're very excited about it, and so you'll see that going on in mid-August at Veterans Park as well. And then coming right after National Night Out and the pickleball tournament, we get a little bit of a break, but we'll go right to our September 11th ceremony at Veterans Park North, and then right from that to Oktoberfest. So a lot going on, but a lot of things that we're very excited about, a lot of outdoor things, which I know people generally feel safer at, but a lot of things to entertain your family at. As I record this from our golf center, I've literally seen people coming in as I was walking in, having their kids come play mini golf. And so, we take pride in your Hamilton administration of providing you an opportunity to have things to do with your kids, things to do either free or cheaply with your kids, because we know with that rising inflation that it's difficult, and you're looking for as many cost saving opportunities as you can. One last thing before we take our break and bring Scott on. We just got approval last week from the state and the county to start sending out tax bills. So you'll see those hitting your mailboxes soon. Normally they're due August 1st with a 10-day grace period. Well, obviously it's July 26th as we send it out. Some of you may not even get your tax bill to August 1st, so it would certainly be unfair to have you pay it by August 1st. So there'll be in that in your tax bill a memo about an extended grace period, I think until about August 25th or August 26th, thereabouts, to give you ample opportunity to pay your tax bill on time. Again, this year, thanks to the work of your government at Mercer County, your Hamilton Township School Board, and your Hamilton Township Council and Administration, we had a flat tax all across the board here in Hamilton. So you'll see little to no change. Obviously, if you put in a pool or something like that, you'll have some changes, right? But in terms of your tax rate, there'll be no change for this year, which, again, when facing those rising costs of inflation and the like, really goes a long way to help you manage your budget and provide for your family. So we're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, we'll be joined by our Executive Director of the Hamilton Township Free Public Library, again, to talk about all the great things we have going on.
Capital Health presents Capital Healthy Living for seniors who want to stay independent. As a member of Capital Healthy Living, you get transportation to all Capital Health doctor visits and other activities. You get easy access to over 400 primary care doctors and specialists. You also get assistance scheduling your appointments with Capital Health doctors, plus life coaching and direct answers to any and all medical questions. This is usually a $50 per month fee for all these services. You can cancel at any time, but sign up now and get the first 2 months free. For more information, visit capitalhealth.org. That's capitalhealth.org. Capital Health, minds advancing minds. Merrill Reese, here to tell you about my good friends at Haldeman Ford Subaru on Route 33 in Hamilton Township. For outstanding sales and service, you can depend on the folks at Haldeman Ford Subaru for the best value on new and pre-owned Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs, along with a great selection of value-priced new and pre-owned Subarus. And no one offers the service that Haldeman does in their huge state-of-the-art service facility. Service so great that many area municipalities and commercial fleets get their service performed by Haldeman Ford Subaru. From Langhorne to Princeton, folks like you to commercial fleets trust the name Haldeman for sales and service. Haldeman Ford Subaru, Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
This is Angelo Honor, your Mercer County prosecutor, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of our Mercer County student athletes the best of luck, and also urge parents to stay involved in your children's school activities. Extracurricular events are a great way to keep your sons and daughters focused, and it does not have to be athletics. They can be involved with the drama club, the school band, even the debate team. An involved student today has a brighter future tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, and I hope you enjoyed today's game.
Well, welcome back to This Month in Hamilton. Want to again thank WBCB 1490 AM as well as our sponsors, Angelo Onifree in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford Subaru, and Radiology Affiliates Imaging for allowing us to bring you This Month in Hamilton. So I'm joined by Scott this morning. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Mayor.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Oh, it's our pleasure to have you. So just a little bit about yourself. I know I introduced you as the Executive Director of the Hamilton Township Free Public Library. A lot of words there. But we'll just refer to it as the Hamilton Library moving forward. So what is the Executive Director position at the library?
Well, I'm kind of in charge of the building, in charge of the staff. I wear a lot of hats.
Sure.
It covers a lot of ground. Of course, the primary goal is to serve our patrons and our public in Hamilton, but all the things behind the scene, making sure that the air conditioner works, making sure we have the money to budget for programming and salaries and everything else. Yeah, like I said, I wear a lot of hats, and I don't do it by myself. I have a great staff to help me with these things. And yeah, it's just it's every day's an adventure. It's very interesting. There's never a dull moment for sure. It's free, it's public. You never know what's coming next.
Sure. So how long have you been the Executive Director?
It's been 6 years that I've been the
Wow.
director. I've actually been at the library for 29 now.
That's
It's been
awesome.
29 years. Yeah, it was an interesting path. I did not, when I was a young child, I didn't say to myself, someday I'm going to be a library director. Surprisingly, that wasn't my goal in life. It was probably astronaut or fireman. But yeah, I was going to school for history education, and it really wasn't, it didn't feel right for me. So I took a part-time job as a shelver at the Hamilton Library back in the beginning, and it just developed from there. I worked there for a while as part-time shelving, and then I started working in the circulation department up front and meeting with people. It's great because you meet so many people. You see people that you've known for years coming in there, but then there's also, I mean, it's a big town, so there's a lot of
Sure.
people coming in that you've never met. You make a lot of new friends. I eventually went back to school, got my master's in library science, and worked in the reference department, which I really loved that. It's a great job. It's a great feeling because every day, again, you don't know what's coming next, and people are coming in for help, and it's such a good feeling to be able to help somebody find information or find a job or, find a lost relative, things like that. Every day you're doing something new, and it is a very fulfilling feeling. And yeah, then when the former director had to leave unexpectedly, I was asked to step in as the acting director. And when she didn't return, they kept me around.
Oh,
So
well,
here I am.
we're lucky to have you as a township. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
and so I know for those who don't understand, the library is kind of a unique entity, right? You're in but not of the township government. So you have your own governing board as well.
That is true. Yes, my bosses. They don't like to be referred to as that, but yes, I'm a board of trustees is in charge of the library. I run the day-to-day with everybody there, but the board of trustees, they oversee bigger decisions that involve the budget or hiring, things like that, to make sure that everything stays above board, which of course it does.
Sure.
And they're great. They're just a great group. They're very talented. They all have different skill sets, and they really help me in so many ways behind the scenes. You don't see the board. The they're not out the public face of the library, but they are definitely an essential part of the runnings and the operations there.
Yeah, and it's a eclectic group, right? You've got retired school teachers, you've got current people from the school board, you've got retired elected officials and the
We do
like, right? And so
exactly.
that helps kind of bring all those different pieces together.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, there's a whole, like you said, a very varied group of individuals, and they don't always see eye to eye, but that's a good thing. We don't want a board that just rubber stamps everything and just everybody agrees with everybody. There's some people that had no background whatsoever in politics or schools or anything, but they were frequent visitors to the library. They were there every day. So it was just, it seemed obvious the best interest of the library was going to be first thing in their mind, and they're on the board along with, as you said, former politicians, school teachers, people that have a lot of experience working with other people and have connections which can very really be beneficial to things that we may need at the library if we need repairs or connections with IT, things like that. They're the people they know or the people they have worked with in the past. They can always lend a hand, and again, their expertise is just invaluable.
yeah, and you think that, libraries were started, right, for an education purpose, that everybody should have access to books and information, and that's how we as a society become engaged and learned and all of that, right? And it's great to see people continue to use those
Certainly.
tools, right?
Certainly, certainly. We have people coming in every day. We do get a lot of people doing research just on their own or students coming in and doing their research. But there's so much else. There's so many entertainment resources and things like that. And there's online resources, in-person resources. We have our computers that people use. So it's a font of knowledge. There's all kinds of information there that's just ready to be tapped into, and people there to help you along the way, which is essential.
Awesome. So, I know, like many people, the last 2+ years have been a roller coaster ride, right? But when
For sure.
you're in charge of a free public institution that's designed for people to come in and engage and learn, and now you are forced to shut the doors, right? To
Yes.
keep people healthy and safe when we first experienced the COVID outbreak, right? What was that like, those first few months?
It was like nothing any of us have ever seen, and you're very well aware of that. That's when you first started coming in as the mayor, and that must have been something. But for us, it was insanely challenging. We had a program. It was funny, right? I was just speaking to the board about this last night. We had a program scheduled the night before everything shut down, and it was ready to go until the last minute. And then we said, "Yeah, we better not do this." And then the next day, the order came that we're closing everything down. And yeah, for a few months there, it was challenging. A few of us would come in just to make sure things were running, operations were going forward. But whenever in the beginning, when nobody knew anything about COVID, there was no interaction. People weren't coming in. But after a few months, once we were able to start offering curbside service, we jumped right in on that so that we were open pretty lengthy, almost our regular hours. We didn't do it at night so much in the beginning, but yeah, pretty much almost our regular hours. We would have curbside. People would call in or email in. We would pull the items, bring them to their car. Everything was bagged up, and you would put it in their trunk. You didn't want any interaction that way. Then as it slowly and surely kept going forward, we would start having people in by appointment before the whole building was open, but they would come in if they needed things notarized or something faxed or needed to do something on the computers. We would just set up so that they could do, one-on-one with people virtually within the room.
Mm-hmm.
Our librarians would be at their desk across the room from somebody working on their computer, and they could send messages back and forth and help them that way, so they didn't have to be right next to each other. And yeah, as it went along, we finally got back to, we'll say, normal, and I hope it stays this way. We're open our regular hours, offering all our regular services, and it's a good feeling. We do still offer curbside if people don't want to come to the library, like from their car, if it's too hot or if they have a problem with getting up the
Mobility,
walkway
sure.
or
Yeah.
things like that. We're more than happy to bring the items back to their car for them, and we can hand it to them. Though we don't have to put it in their trunk.
And so, just like everything else has evolved over the last 2 years, you guys have evolved, and now you have something continuing that you never would have anticipated pre-pandemic, right?
Exactly. And we also offer a lot of different virtual resources that we didn't have before. We have something called Hoopla, where you can get comic books, ebooks to read or to listen to, movies, TV programs, things like that, just from your home. You don't have to come into the library. You can just download it onto your device and watch it or read it that way. There was all kinds of, in the beginning especially, we had all kinds of tours of museums and things, and a lot of those are still available. So it helped us to discover a lot of resources and provide them for the public that maybe nobody knew about before.
Mhm.
And once you were kind of stuck in your home and we were stuck finding ways to bring things to your home, it helped us to provide a lot more help that way. And, again, with employment opportunities and things like that, anything we could find, and especially a lot of work from home opportunities, we would try and find them for people just working virtually. And it was a great learning experience, a horrible way to go about it, but it was a great learning experience for everyone.
No, that's awesome. And now driving past the library, I see as many cars as I did pre-pandemic in the parking lot.
Which is a great site. Yeah. We have, like I said, we're open for regular business, so we get our crowds coming in to use computers, pick up books, pick up movies, things like that. The meetings are back, so we have all kinds of Camp Bolden, the Civil War Group, the Stamp Club, the Coin Club. They're all meeting there. We're doing programming, plenty of programming. Safety Town's going on right now, so we have them every day through the summer. There's 4 groups, 2 weeks each, so 2 groups a day. So yeah, we're getting a lot of traffic through the library, and it's a wonderful site.
It's got to be a good energy
It is.
to
It
have
is.
through the building again, right?
For sure. It's the way the library's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, and it's
Quietly.
yes.
Quiet
Yeah.
energy, but a good energy nonetheless. And I'm sure, like me, you reflect back sometimes to how extra quiet it was in those days of spring of 2020, right? And
It was like
eerie, right?
it was like the library on a Sunday night because we're not open. There was nobody there. You would come in and there'd be 2 or 3 employees just making sure things ran. But I would see, because of our location of our library, I'd see like turkeys and foxes and things going through the parking lot because there was no people there to bother them. It was really a different world, and I hope we never go back there. I like the
Yeah.
library the way it is, just like it is right now.
Me as well. I hope we never go back there. So, Scott, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, though, want to talk to you. I know you started to mention some of the different programming things you have, but you really want to kind of educate people or re-educate them on a lot of the programming that you all are doing at the library that people may have forgotten about, right?
Sure.
As they couldn't go to the library for a while and now reintroduce themselves to it. And also, I'm sure people have heard about Friends of the Library. And so want to educate people on what that is and how they may provide some help. So we're going to take a short break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll keep talking about all the good things you got going on.
All right, thank you.
Capital Health is ready to see you. Wondering if it's the right time to reschedule that doctor's appointment, lab or imaging test, or hospital procedure? Capital Health is ready to see you again. All of Capital Health's hospital and outpatient care locations are open and ready to accept appointments. When you're ready to get back to health, rest assured, Capital Health is ready for you.
Radiology Affiliates Imaging has been part of the Hamilton community for over 50 years, with 2 convenient locations, RAI Chi Hamilton and RAI Lawrenceville. We offer expertise in all areas of imaging for all members of your family. Our board-certified specialty radiologists offer expertise in women's imaging, interventional radiology, musculoskeletal and diagnostic radiology. Whether you need an MRI, CAT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or X-ray, we offer the latest in imaging technology and interpretation. In the last 50 years, RAI has earned our place amongst the largest and most respected radiology groups in our area. For more information on all RAI has to offer, visit www.4rai.com.
Merrill Reese, here to tell you about my good friends at Haldeman Ford Subaru on Route 33 in Hamilton Township. For outstanding sales and service, you can depend on the folks at Haldeman Ford Subaru for the best value on new and pre-owned Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs, along with a great selection of value-priced new and pre-owned Subarus. And no one offers the service that Haldeman does in their huge, state-of-the-art service facility. Service so great that many area municipalities and commercial fleets get their service performed by Haldeman Ford Subaru. From Langhorne to Princeton, folks like you to commercial fleets trust the name Haldeman for sales and service. Haldeman Ford Subaru, Route 33 in Hamilton Township.
Well, welcome back to This Month in Hamilton. Want to again thank WBCB 1490 AM as well as our sponsors. Angelo Onifree in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford Subaru, and Radiology Affiliates Imaging. So, Scott, when we were going to break, we were talking a little bit about Friends of the Library, right? So
Yes.
what is Friends of the Hamilton Township Library versus, like, the library itself?
Okay, the Friends are a volunteer organization that we could not live without. They raise funds for the library to provide for things that we normally couldn't afford. A lot of the programming, most of the programming for the children and adults, materials and resources that we maybe couldn't budget. They, like the hoopla that I was mentioning before, things like that, they are really a lifesaver for us and for the people of Hamilton to provide things that maybe we don't have the funds for whatever reasons. I mean, other things take precedence, keeping the building open and standing and things like that we need to pay for. Sometimes we might not be able to buy the resources that we need, and they are a great, they're a lifeline. They really are. And to become a friend, anybody can be a friend of the library. They usually meet a couple times a week to sort materials that get donated, and we have an extremely generous population here in Hamilton. Every day, hundreds, if not thousands of items, books, DVDs, movies, books on CD, everything gets donated to us, and they organize it. They have a book sale room that's open every day at the library, right as you come in the front entrance, and every other month, they have their huge book sale down in the basement, which it runs on a Saturday and a Monday. The next one is in September. They just had one last week. And yeah, it's just amazing the deals you can get. Books for $1, CDs for 50 cents. I see people come in and go out with boxes and boxes and bags of things. It's just a great resource. And like I said, they provide us with things that we might not be able to afford, and a lot of the programming, things like that, which is priceless.
So if somebody wanted to become a friend or become through volunteer, right? Is there do they call the library? Do the friends have like a email or a number or something like that?
All of the above. They could call the library. We can put you in touch with them. If you go on our website, they have a link to their website, and you can reach out through email. You could stop in and just talk to somebody. There's little forms to fill out to join the Friends. So yeah, they're always looking for help. We're always looking for help, and anytime that you would be willing to give, they'd be more than happy to help.
And you said people are donating items, books and DVDs. So if somebody has, they spent a bunch of days in the house now with 95-degree weather, right? And maybe did a little cleaning and came up with some books or DVDs or CDs that they're not, using anymore, and they don't want to throw away, right? So how can they get them to the Friends?
We are more than happy to take them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have, if you're facing the library, if you pull along the left-hand side, there are a couple of book donation drops. There's also a couple of carts up next to the building under an overhang to keep them out of the weather. So anytime, day or night of the week, you can drop things off. We're willing to take anything and everything because there's always somebody else that wants it. Something that you may have read years and years ago that you don't really, I read that, I don't really need that around anymore. Someone else, they might want it. And also, a lot of the material that gets donated, exactly that situation. If you read a book 20 years ago and it's been sitting on a shelf, it comes to us in perfect condition. We might have that book that's been going out every other week for 20 years, it's not in great shape. So we can switch that out, put a donated item into our collection, saves the library the expense of buying that item to add to the collection, which is, like I said, we get so much material from our public. We are so thankful that it saves us a lot of money and makes us a lot of money through the Friends to pay for the programs and things like that. Or you can bring it inside if you happen to be coming inside that day. Just bring it in. We'll put it under the counter, and the Friends will get it that way too.
And kids up to adults, fiction, nonfiction, all the above, right?
Everything. We'll
Alright.
take it all.
Yeah.
Not so much video cassettes. Those are pretty much going by the wayside. There's not a lot of demand for those. So, and sometimes old encyclopedias, that's another thing. Your stuff from 1960 isn't as valuable as it might seem.
A little bit of the information may have changed since then,
Exactly.
right? So do you need a library card to engage in all that? Or is it just totally almost separate? They just have a space there?
The Friends, yes. For the Friends, you do not need a library card. They'll take anybody. We would love you to get a library card if you're interested.
So how do you get one?
To get a library card, if you live in Hamilton, own property in Hamilton, or work full-time in Hamilton, it's absolutely free of charge. You just have to come in. Adults just need to bring either their license or some type of ID, a bill, something with their name and address to prove where they live or work, and we can get them a card right then and there. It entitles you to access to everything, all our resources, all our programs, everything in the building. If you do not live in the township or fit any of those, you can subscribe it's $75 for a year, and then that will entitle you to any of those resources and such. Anybody can come in and use the library. The library card pretty much is just to take materials out of the library or to log into certain resources from home. You might need a library card number. But anybody in Hamilton, anybody in New Jersey, anybody in the country can come in and use our library, use our computers, read a book, use us as a cooling center, which is quite handy recently. We try to be all things to all people, and we don't want to put restrictions on it within reason.
So if, I still have my library card, it's great saved into my computer, so when I need to access something online, I just do it that way. But if somebody took out a library card, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and because of the pandemic, they really haven't been back, is there a way to check? Do they need to update it? Do they need to renew it? How does that work?
More than likely. If it's been 10 years, they're probably not in the system anymore, but we can put them right back in, no problem. Usually the card lasts for 3 years before it expires. You don't disappear from the system, but if it hasn't been used, it'll come up as expired, just so we can verify that your information is still the same. So if we need to contact you, we have your email, we have your phone, everything is still the same. But again, it's a very quick and easy process. If your card did expire, if you haven't been around in a while, or even if you moved away and then moved back, we can get you right back in using your library.
Awesome. So we talked a little bit before about programming, and now that we're in the summer season, kids are off from school and all of that. So what kind of kids programming do you have? Regular things? Do you have things you're just doing now? What kind of kid stuff is available for the children here in Hamilton?
Our kids programming, there's not a day that passes where there's not a program, and usually there's more than one. I'm really impressed by our children's department. They have programs from open play for the kids to come in to story times that they do. We do a lot of this all year round, but in the summer they really ramp it up because there are a lot more kids available, a lot more kids coming in on a regular basis. So we try to give them things to do. And there's programs. There's been magic shows where the kids not just watch the magic, but learn to do the tricks themselves.
Wow.
There was something called Cardboard Explosion, which it's not as dangerous as it sounds. It was pretty impressive. They made costumes and things out of cardboard and had the parents interact with the kids in these costumes. It was really quite funny. The summer reading theme is Oceans of Possibilities. So there's been a lot of nautical themes with, they have, the children's room itself it looks like an undersea wonderland. There's a huge octopus, there's netting, there's fish all over the place. They made a desk into a submarine.
Wow.
And that's where they do a lot of the story times and things like that. And again, and throughout the year, throughout the rest of the summer, there's still going to be programs every day. If you check our website, our calendar, or call the kids room, they'll tell you when you can sign up. On our Facebook page, there's always like I said, like every day it seems there's another one popping up. Sign up for this, sign up for this, sign up for this, and they're all free, and there's no charge for any of this. Some of them there's limited capacity because they are quite popular, and I mean we don't have any restrictions except the size of the rooms at this point. But
Sure.
we get some pretty popular events, and we have sometimes we do them outside if the weather's good, and we can do that. We have some music programs that we've done out in our gazebo, and you just see all the families set up around there. It's really nice to see.
In terms of ages, right? You probably have different programs for different ages then as well, too, right?
We do. They run from age 0 they have to up to like 9, 10. Once you get into the teen years, we also have summer reading programs for the teens as well. There's not as much of the fun stuff like that, but there is still a lot. It's tough to get teens involved, but we do our best. And there's a lot of crafts and things that they can make and take home and things like that. But yeah, the children's there's any age, which is great because a lot of families they'll have one child in Safety Town and they'll come with a younger child to pick them up, and then they can go right into a program for the younger child as well.
Awesome. So you talked a little bit about the website, right? So what is the
Yes.
library's website?
It's hamiltonnjpl.org. That is
Okay.
our website. And on there you can find our hours, our links to resources, links to the friends, our calendar of events, just about everything you need, and contact information, emails, phone numbers for every person in every department.
And then what about Facebook? Because a lot of people are on Facebook as well.
We do have a Facebook. I don't have it memorized what the Facebook page is, but if you just look up Hamilton Township Public Library, we should come up, and there's also a link from our website to our Facebook page.
Perfect.
And yeah, you can't miss it. And like I said, there's new stuff all the time. There's adult programs. We can talk more about that. And yeah, there's always something happening at your library.
Yeah, and it sounds like a lot of great experiences for kids. I remember still myself going to the local library as a kid, right, and engaging with other kids and all of that. And it was different than just being, say, home with
sure.
mom or dad for the day kind of thing. So,
Certainly.
Scott, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, I know we'll talk certainly about the adult programming that's going on at the library too, and just generically about some of the things you have going on there. So,
Okay.
with that, we'll be back with Scott in just a moment.
This is Angelo Weiner, your Mercer County prosecutor, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of our Mercer County student athletes the best of luck, and also urge parents to stay involved in your children's school activities. Extracurricular events are a great way to keep your sons and daughters focused, and it does not have to be athletics. They can be involved with the drama club, the school band, even the debate team. An involved student today has a brighter future tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, and I hope you enjoyed today's game.
Capital Health presents Capital Healthy Living for seniors who want to stay independent. As a member of Capital Healthy Living, you get transportation to all Capital Health doctor visits and other activities. You get easy access to over 400 primary care doctors and specialists. You also get assistance scheduling your appointments with Capital Health doctors, plus life coaching and direct answers to any and all medical questions. This is usually a $50 per month fee for all these services. You can cancel at any time, but sign up now and get the first 2 months free. For more information, visit capitalhealth.org. That's capitalhealth.org. Capital Health, minds advancing minds.
Radiology Affiliates Imaging has been part of the Hamilton community for over 50 years, with 2 convenient locations, RAI Chi Hamilton and RAI Lawrenceville. We offer expertise in all areas of imaging for all members of your family. Our board-certified specialty radiologists offer expertise in women's imaging, interventional radiology, musculoskeletal and diagnostic radiology. Whether you need an MRI, CAT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or X-ray, we offer the latest in imaging technology and interpretation. In the last 50 years, RAI has earned our place amongst the largest and most respected radiology groups in our area. For more information on all RAI has to offer, visit www.4rai.com.
Well, welcome back to This Month in Hamilton. Want to thank WBCB 1490 AM as well as our sponsors, Angelo Onifree in the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford Subaru, and Radiology Affiliates Imaging. So, Scott, when we talk about the library, one of the things I've talked about in the show before is this new municipal complex we have coming up the street, right, on Whitehorse Ave, and I'm reminded of the history of the current municipal building, which at one point housed the Hamilton Township library, right? But how long has the library been where it's at today, roughly?
Actually, it's we're coming up on 50 years. It was 1975 that this building opened. It was quite the story. The library was initially created by a referendum by the voters back in 1922.
Wow.
But they didn't have a home, and for years they would use stores, people's homes, churches, and just put books in these different locations for people to get to. And for years and years and years they would do that. Then they started renting spaces, and they used the municipal building as their main hub. And then eventually, in 1975, our library opened. So it'll be 50 years in a couple more years, and we're looking forward to that celebration, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a big celebration, definitely. But when we were talking just about kids programming, right? But it's not just kids programming you have adult programming as well.
Definitely, we definitely do. We actually, last week, we had something called a What It's Worth program, which was kind of like the Antiques Roadshow, where people would bring things in. We had an appraiser talk about it. It was great because you had all kinds of interesting items. People had their stories of where it came from, and that was a lot of fun. So we intend to probably do that again. Next week, we have a gentleman coming in doing an estate planning seminar for people that can come in and learn about wills and things of that nature. In September, we're looking to do a plant swap where people will come in, bring plants, take plants, something like that to involve people. Because it's September, things start to wind down. Hopefully everything doesn't fry in this weather and there's still plants to do this with. But that should be fun. And October is going to be full of programs. We have a Sleepy Hollow program for adults. We have our Scarecrow contest that month. And we look forward to a lot of kids programs interspersed with that. And we'll also be participating in the National Night Out and Oktoberfest and things of that nature.
So if people want to get more information, they can go to Facebook, they can go to your library, but they can just see at some of these events that we talked about earlier.
Exactly. It's just because especially those events like National Night Out, that's going to be gigantic with that turnout of that crowd. And a lot of people that maybe don't know about the library, don't frequent the library, we can introduce them to it, tell them what we have. We can give them a card right then and there. We can fill out an application and have them put in the system so that they can head right over and use it the next day.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you also have some things going on with sculptures, right?
Yes. Actually, we've been collecting sculptures from local artists on display inside and outside the library. There's a lot of artwork inside the library, and then we have our sculpture garden outside all over the grounds. We just added a few more pieces, and we have a couple more coming, because actually next year is the 10-year anniversary of that initiative. So we're looking forward to some type of a celebration to, thank the artists and all the people involved that have made this a successful venture.
No, it's great walking into the library, whether you're going to the main floor or downstairs, and you're passing unique pieces of art along the way, and it just ties in with the grounds for sculpture. Now we have a different little grounds for sculpture right here.
The main piece by Seward Johnson right on the front lawn, that was the first one, and that's been there for ages. That was there before the sculpture garden formed around it, but that's our pride and joy right there.
Wow. So I talked a little bit about when you come in, you go to the go up the ramp to the main level, where there's a side down ramp, right? And that's where the meeting spaces are. So if you're somebody who's part of a group, right, looking for a space to meet, the library has space potentially available.
We do. We have quite a bit of space. We have 2 large meeting rooms. One of them can be broken down into a smaller room and to make 2 rooms out of that. We get a lot of meetings in those spaces from groups like, I think I mentioned the Coin Club and the Stamp Club, things like that, but also people that want to celebrate something. We will rent them out for birthdays, anniversaries, things like that. For nonprofit groups, if you can prove nonprofit status, there's no charge whatsoever. For groups, like I said, if you're having a party or celebration, there is a small fee. But there's every day, all day, and into the night, they're always open for use. We have a creative writers group. We have our book club that meets there. So we have all kinds of groups and clubs that are use them, and we're open to anybody who's interested in using them.
And some local artwork downstairs as well, too,
Yes,
right?
yes. Downstairs, upstairs, there's not many wall spaces or even bookshelf ends that don't have something on them. And we try to keep it live. We try to keep switching it out. So if someone's interested, we might switch it to a different artist. Some of the artists have gifted us their collections or pieces of work that we keep permanently, and they stay up. But if someone else needs to use the space for a short time, we'll put those in storage briefly, put up new ones, and just to give everybody a chance and let everybody see the different kinds of talents we have in this township.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, switching gears a little bit, I know we talked about the library board, and you had a meeting last night of the library board, and there's a national movement about fine-free, because we are the Hamilton Township free public
Exactly.
library. So what is fine-free?
Fine Free is a new initiative that we're going to embrace on a one-year trial basis, but I have a feeling it'll be sticking around, where there won't be any fines for overdue items. If you have something checked out, you get a due date on your item, so it comes back so others can enjoy it. But there used to be a day-to-day fine, and it varied depending on what type of material it was for movies or books or newer items, things like that. Just as an incentive to bring it back, you would be charged a fee. Well, as you said, that's kind of going away. The more people are embracing the fine-free initiative, and our board approved that just last night. So in the coming weeks, we'll be switching over to that system where there won't be a fine anymore. We still encourage you to bring things back in a timely manner, but you won't be charged a fee. And it's mostly for, there are some people that maybe you took out a bunch of books for your family, like kids' books, and dad and mom and everybody took items out, and maybe they got lost in the shuffle or you forgot. That can add up quickly when you have quite a few items, and a lot of times that prohibits people from coming back. They'll think, oh, I don't really have that money to pay that fine. And maybe the items won't come back, or maybe the items will come back, but the people won't because they're afraid they don't want to have to pay the fee. This takes care of that problem so they can use our library. They don't have to have that fear. There will be, if an item is lost or damaged, of course you'll have to pay to replace it. But going forward, probably before the end of August, we should have this in place where there will be no fees. So even if you do bring it back a few weeks late, we appreciate the item coming back, and we want you to come back, and there's no fee for that.
And it's really a national movement, right?
It is. A lot of places, not everybody, but a lot of places are doing this, and I'm glad we're following suit. It's time.
And as you said, it's really to encourage, a lot of times you just drop it in the box after hours, right? When it's finding you hope, I won't go in because then they'll ask me for the money, and I don't want to be embarrassed, or I don't want to be pay the $5 or whatever the case may be. And it discourages somebody from ever coming back.
Right. And we've heard too many stories about that. A lot of members of our board that are involved in the schools, and either teachers or librarians in the schools or former teachers, that's the stories they've heard about. When they mention, oh, why don't you go to the library? I never see you at the library. That's part of the reason. It's like, well, my mom says we can't go because we owe too much money. Well, that goes away now. And anybody, even if you did owe a fine, if you owed a fine from 5 years ago, as long as you brought the material back, the fine's going to disappear. So please come back.
Yes. Versus if you've lost the book or you lost the movie, you still need to replace.
Exactly.
Pay to replace that.
Right.
So it's a 1-year trial run?
1-year trial run. We'll see what happens. The board will decide at that point next year if we want to continue it. I think it's a good thing. I think it'll show, the statistics will show when people start coming in, we start getting materials back that people maybe were afraid to return. I think it's going to work on so many levels. I think it'll be a good thing for us.
And it wasn't like you were relying on the fines to run your day-to-day operations. It wasn't generating tens of thousands of dollars or anything.
Not at
like
all.
That, right?
They maybe 1% of our income came from fines. Most of it comes from printouts and faxes and things that people do like that. But fines were. It seems like it was a punishment, and for years that's what everybody did. Libraries did that, but they're starting to realize that maybe that's not the best way to go.
We want to get you in and get you engaged more and get you educated. Right.
We'd rather have the person in the library than their $5. We don't. We bring you in. That's what we're here for. We're here to help the community.
And that allows them to continue to use their library card then and all of that. And I know we talked a lot about the programming, but what's going on with museums and all of
Yes.
that? Yeah, I know you
Yeah.
said before you had where people could go online and do a virtual tour of your
Hmm.
museum, but what do you have going on with museums now?
Right, right. We had a museum pass program before COVID, and when COVID hit, obviously everything shut down. And then slowly but surely, some museums were coming back. Some of them never came back. A lot of them had restrictions on when you could go, how many people could go, so it was a little too difficult for us to set that up. But now that everything's back open, we are in the process of getting what museums we could to join back in. Like I said, some of them we lost. Some of them don't do museum passes anymore, but we have things like the Old Barracks, Battleship, New Jersey, Eastern State Penitentiary, Bucks County Children's Museum, and several others that we are in the process of getting the passes back in place and everything all set up. Again, thanks to our friends of the library for their funding. And hopefully before the end of summer, I was kind of hoping it would be before the end of July, but it doesn't look like it. It's just a process. But hopefully before the end of summer, we'll have that back going because I know there's a lot of interest in it. And it's a free program for the patrons of Hamilton. You come in, you get your pass. Depending on the museum, some are good for groups of 4, some are groups of 8. It's not just like one pass for one person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. And we actually got 2 passes for the Bucks County Children's Museum so that, more families can enjoy that. And you just have to reserve the pass, come in, pick it up, and free to go and enjoy the museum.
That's awesome. So if a family wants to take their kids to Battleship, New Jersey, look for a day trip, right, to do something different. But again, now with gas being higher, it would cost more, plus the cost of admission and all that. It's one way of helping that family be able to afford that day trip to take their kids to see something that maybe they wouldn't have had the ability to otherwise, right?
Certainly, with the expenses today, with everything, the cost of everything going up, this is nice. It's a wonderful free item for someone to use. And again, once you get there, everything's free. You can go in and enjoy the museum at no charge at all.
Yeah, and I like how many times you said free because that's the message we want to.
Exactly.
We're looking to help people, right? And expose their kids to new things that might not have been able to afford it otherwise.
Right. And we're always looking for different museums. Anytime people suggest them. Before the pandemic hit, we were looking into the Museum of the American Revolution. So that may be added this year. Again, we lost a few, so hopefully we'll be able to add more as time goes by if they're still willing and we can still do it.
Awesome. Well, Scott, you got a lot of great things going on at the library.
Thank you. I'll try.
Kudos to you and your staff over there. I know you've got a lot of hardworking men and women committed to serving our Hamilton Township public, right, and our residents
Certainly
who,
do.
whether they're daily visitors or monthly visitors or what have you, a lot goes into them being able to walk in the building and get what they want to get. And so I appreciate you coming on the show today to educate people about all the great things you have going on, but for people to see what goes into providing them these services that I don't want to say they take for granted, right? But they don't see the hard work that goes into it behind the scenes to provide them these opportunities and these services. So,
Well, thank you. That's very much appreciated.
yeah. So thank you to you and your staff. Thank you to WBCB 1490 AM as well as our sponsors, Angelo Onifree and the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office, Capital Health System, Haldeman Ford Subaru and Radiology Affiliates Imaging for allowing us to be with you this month to talk about what's going on this month in Hamilton. With that, we will see you in August. Have a great rest of July, and we'll see you next month.